Hello guys, and welcome to part 6 of my 150 subscriber DVD collection. As I was looking, I didn't realize I had so many DVDs on this road. This is a new shelf. I got a whole new DVD shelf right here. And the first one's kind of horizontal, all kinds of stuff, but this one's more vertical. And I took all the ones out from my 6th row. And there's a lot more movies, so there's a lot to cover, but a lot of them are actually like collections of movies, so it might not take as long as we think. So, as you can see, I'm going to stand up real quick. Yeah, there's a lot, so. We'll get started, but like I said, a lot of them are collections, so we'll get started with it. First one is an actual collection. It is Penn and Teller's Bullshit. I saw this on HBO back a few years ago. Basically, it's these two magician guys, Penn and Teller. Teller never talks. Penn does all the talking. They get a lot of like myths and stuff like that from the world, and they try to prove it bullshit, like hypnotism and hysteria, Ouija boards, shit like that. And I mean, and they do it in a informative kind of style, but it's very funny too, and I really like them. So we have Phil the Alien. He is of course an alien, but he's a party alien. He crashes to Earth. He comes to have a good time, but he decides he needs to try to find his way home, and he encounters like different stuff, like a prostitute, ex-CIA agents, monkeys, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty funny. Pineapple Express. They go to a Seth Rogen and them go to a drug person, and they witness a death, and they're running from the people, and they run from their people, or they run from the people, and every time something happens, they think like the villain, the antagonist of the thing thinks that them actually doing it. All they're trying to do is just run for their lives. Perfectly funny stoner movie. I would like a cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. The Pink Panther. It's based off the 1960s movies, and he's a very inept detective. Yeah, so it's kind of like he's kind of like Mr. Magoo. I mean, I think he played all kinds of stuff, but he's a very inept detective. His detective skills aren't up to par, but he actually finds a way to solve the case anyway. It's okay. All 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. What can be said about Pirates of the Caribbean? It's pirates. They're in the Caribbean. Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom is in the original 3. Well, in the 4th one, Johnny Depp comes back, but they got Penelope Cruz. And you got Blackbeard, and it's pirate stuff. It's a good quadrilogy of movies so far. They announced the 5th one, so I mean, there's more coming. We have Poseidon. It's your typical natural disaster movie. It's like I said, it's a typical natural disaster movie. The ship flips over 150 ship, all kind of stuff. They got to find a way to rescue all the people and get off the ship, and all kind of stuff. Desperate struggle to survive. It's their typical natural disaster movie. Armageddon, Poseidon, Twister, shit like that. Very underrated movie. I like this movie. It's a B-rated movie, but I'm looking for the 2nd one. But it's a movie called Pretty Cool. It's about a guy who's about to graduate from high school, but he has to take summer courses. So he sneaks into the principal's office to change his grade, and at that exact moment, like, the government's doing some kind of like mind control experiments, and he gets zapped into it, and he can control minds, all kind of stuff. So he uses the advantage to try to control girls and all kind of stuff. Like they make him take off their shirts and all kind of stuff. But he goes from like geeky to really cool, and but you know the CIA's after him, all kind of stuff. There's actually a second movie, but I haven't found it yet. It's hard. This one was hard enough to find, but if you ever have a chance to watch it, it's actually a pretty good movie. Pretty Persuasion. I'm not real sure about this movie. I heard it's really, really good though. If anybody can tell me about it, let me know. I haven't really seen this one yet, but I mean, I need to watch it because it has Evan Rachel Wood in it. I really like her, so. But if anybody can tell me about it, I mean, based on what I've seen, it looks like that. It looks like pretty good. But if anybody can tell me about it, that'd be appreciated. I really don't know much about this movie, to be honest. So, The Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies growing up. It's storybook. Dude about a pirate who supposedly gets killed. About a guy who gets killed, but he apparently becomes a pirate. And he's like helping people around the world, all kind of stuff. And he's trying to find his one true love and all kind of stuff. It's really, really good movie. It's got Andre the Giant in it and has all kinds of stuff. It's got the dude from Robin Hood Men in Tights in it. This is a very, very good movie. It's one of my favorite movies growing up. I would recommend it to anybody. There's not much I can say about this movie except to watch it. The Proposal. Okay, I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen this movie, but it's been a while. I know it was okay. It's your typical romance comedy movie. There's a guy that's about to get deported, and so he convinces one of his like high power, one of his co-workers to be married. They go up to Alaska in 4 days. They have 4 days to convince them that they really are married and all kind of stuff. So he can get the high-powered job that he wants or get deported. It's fun. It's an okay movie. I mean, I didn't think it was too bad. Puss in Boots. After they finished up Shrek, they did a Puss in Boots movie. It's about the debut of how Puss in Boots became Puss in Boots from the Shrek movies. It was pretty cool. I liked it. It had a swashbuckling, action-venture kind of stuff. And of course, Antonio Banderas does the voice. It's actually not a really good. It's cute. I liked it. We have Rat Race. We have like a casino tycoon that has given away the 6 contestants like in a game show kind of thing, and they have a chance to win $2 million. And they have to go on a race from Las Vegas to New Mexico to get the money. So it's pretty good. I didn't think I was going to like this movie, but it wound up being pretty good. It's Real Steel. And if you don't know anything about the movie, a former boxing guy, washed up boxer guy, decides to call it a career. But there's a little bit in the future where like robots have taken over the fight and all that kind of stuff, and he finds this old broken down robot that nobody wants because it didn't do much of anything as fighting. He kept losing matches, and he builds it back up to scratch and decides to train the robot and so like that. It was a really good movie. And I mean, I actually thought it was pretty enjoyable. So, Rebound. It's the typical kids sports movies: Mighty Ducks, Sandlot, Little Giants, bench warmers, kicking and screaming, stuff like that. Except it's with basketball this time. What can be said about it? It's your typical movie. Underdog team becomes contenders. We have Red Eye. They're on a plane, and her seatmate is part of an assassination plot, and they're going to try to do now she's going to try to warn everybody about the plot before it's too late. So like that. It's not the best thrill in the world, but it's not bad either. Like I said before, I like musicals. Rent. Rent's a really pretty good musical. It's about a group of people who can't afford to pay the rent and all that kind of stuff, and they're basically like starving artists and stuff like that. It's a pretty good musical. It's one of the longest running musicals ever too. So one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen, but I absolutely love the movie too, is Requiem for a Dream. I can't explain this movie in words. It's really weird. It's got a lot of trippy moments to it. It's got a bunch of weirdness to it. It's like these four people who have like connections with each other, and they try to give their version of vision of happiness, but one thing leads to another, and their vision of happiness. It's a weird movie. You probably have to watch it multiple times to get the movie, but it's a really good movie. It's also one of my favorite movies. I can't explain it. I just know that this movie's really good. Reservoir Dogs. It's made by Quentin Tarantino, same person who made Pulp Fiction, and they do a simple robbery and it went into a bloody ambush, and they realize that one of their own is a police informant. But which one is it? So it's a really good movie too. It's not as good as Pulp Fiction, but it definitely has its moments. I got 3 of the Resident Evil movies, the first 3. I don't have 4 or 5 yet, but it's Resident Evil. It's based off the video games. Got a bunch of blood, zombies, gore. Some of them are varying degrees of success compared to the other ones. Like the first one was really good, second one was not as good, third one was and they have varying degrees of success. But I have the first 3. And it's based off the video game series. It's got zombies and a bunch of zombies. What else can be said about it? Zombies. The Ring 2. I don't have the first one. I don't have the second. I only have the second one. One of the people from the Ring escapes the you will die in 7 days, and she's trying to start a night of movie, but Samara, the girl from the Ring, returns, and a real struggle begins when she appears in the real world. So The Ringer. It's got Johnny Knoxville in it. It's about a guy who pretends to be Monty Challenge so he can perform in the Special Olympics and bring home the gold in the Special Olympics. But a bunch of his competitors start getting wise to the idea and all kind of stuff, and it teaches him to be a better person. It's stupid. It's got Johnny Knoxville in it, but it is what it is. I have 5 of the 6 Rocky movies. The only one I don't have is Rocky 5, but here's Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and Rocky Balboa. Classic sports movies, some of the greatest sports movies that have ever been released. It's a boxing guy who started off as like a little bitty boxer who rises up to face the champion of the world, actually puts up a challenge, and he becomes the champion of the world, and he has his struggles with his wife and his kid and stuff like that. And this one takes place quite a few years later. He's way past his prime, but he has like a charity match against the current champion of the world, and he actually puts up a real good fight even in his 50s and stuff like that. So good movie. I mean, all these are classic movies. I wish I could find a 5th one though. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Perhaps my favorite musical. what can be said about the Rocky Horror Picture Show? If you haven't seen it, it takes place in the 70s. It's got transvestites and aliens and musicals and cannibalism and death and freaky stuff and creations, and I mean, it's got Tim Burton playing as a transvestite, and I don't know, it's not Tim Burton, Tim Curry, sorry. Not Tim Burton, Tim Curry. And it's really weird musical if you haven't, for the basic premise of it, but it's one of my favorite musicals. In fact, back in the day, they had a group around here called Rocky Unbound. I was actually part of the cast of Rocky Horror. I played Dr. Scott, so it's good. One of the all-time classics. Role models. We have the two people that are like the world's like the least two likely mentors. They're going to try to. They got to put aside their sarcastic, foul-mouthed party sense of humor to mentor these two kids. All kind of stuff. It's okay. I mean, it's actually a pretty good movie. It's got a pretty good cast in it, but I would recommend at least watch of it. Another B-rated movie. We have Santa Slay with Goldberg from the WWE. It's a kilter Santa Claus. In fact, this is like the opposite side of Santa Claus. Santa Claus is the devil. And the only thing that kept him in check, and the reason why he does all that kind of stuff, is that he made a bet with an angel, and he lost it, and he had to do it for 1,000 years. But now 1,000 years is up. The entire Saw series, 1 through 7. Again, Saw has a varying degrees of success. Saw 1 was really good, 2 was really good, 3 is when the story started getting really convoluted. But if you see one Saw movie, there's another Saw movie, people get caught in traps, they have to get out of the traps before they die. If they die, they, well, and all kind of stuff, but if they do survive it, all kind of stuff. A lot of them learn life lessons and they should become a better person, all kind of stuff. But if you've seen one Saw movie, they're all the same. Typical gross out horror movies. Each of them are better than the other. Some are better than the others, but a lot of people say that since first Saw 1, a lot of them went down in quality, all kind of stuff. But I don't know. Some of them are really good, varying. But I watched the entire series, and I think as a whole, it's pretty decent. So. Scary Movie 4. Unfortunately, it's the only scary movie I own. Just like all the others, with Epic Movie making fun of like the Epic movies, Date movies making fun of Date movies, all kind of stuff. Scary movies make fun of scary movies. Like the first one made fun of Scream, and the second one was The Exorcist and stuff like that. This one makes fun of Signs and The Grudge and Saw and The Village and War of the Worlds and stuff like that. It's funny. And Scary Movie 5 is pretty good too, but I need to get all the other scary movies. Scooby-Doo 2. I don't have the first one, I only have the second one. First one is actually on TV right now, but it's okay. Second one is, it's Scooby-Doo. They, investigate, but this investigation leads Scooby and Shaggy to wonder what their role is actually in Mystery Inc. and all kind of stuff. But in the end, they end up actually the ones that, say, that, solve the mystery, so. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Freaking love this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's about a guy that meets his girl Ramona, wants to date her, but in order to date her, he has to battle her 7 evil exes. And there's like a bunch of like video game references, like one of them's a bass fight, and he's playing like the bass line from Final Fantasy, and there's like skateboard references and video games, and you have to fight face-to-face like in video games and all that kind of stuff. It's really, 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 really good. I really enjoyed this movie. Almost done, guys. Almost done. We have Secret Window. Dude, dude comes up to the writer and claims that he plagiarized the short story, and he says that he didn't do it. He demands justice, and he starts going crazy and spiraling out of control, all kind of stuff. It's a nice little psychological thriller, and it has Johnny Depp in it. Serenity, made by the people who made Firefly. It's a sci-fi movie. It's got I can't really explain it. I really haven't watched too much of it. I keep falling asleep or doing other stuff when I watched it, but I have seen most of it. It was pretty good for my soul. It's not as good as Firefly, like the actual series, but it's pretty enjoyable. Almost done, guys. A series on unfortunate events. They, three orphans wind up going to a house of a dude named Count Olaf, but the three orphans are very, very, very smart and all kind of stuff, and they he wants this fortune, all that kind of stuff. So he's trying to get rid of the kids and all kind of stuff. But every time he tries to get rid of the kids, the orphans trick them and all kind of stuff, and find some way to get even with them. They're very, very smart little kids and all kind of stuff. But it's too bad they haven't came out with too many movies. There's like 8 or 9 books based on this, and this is only like the first 3 books. So, and it's got Jim Carrey in it. So. The entire Shrek series. Classics, all that kind of stuff. About an ogre who just wants to have a swamp to himself. Winds up having fairy tale people going to his house because the evil king forced him there. So he goes to try to go to the king and winds up wrapped up with rescuing a princess who winds up being like an ogre at night. She's got a curse. He falls in love with the ogre. They live happy ever after, and each movie adds on to it. Like they have babies, and one of the movies he makes a deal with Rumpelstiltskin to make him look like, because he wanted to live like a life of an ogre for 24 hours, and he has 24 hours to break the curse, so he forgets everything that he ever had. It's got varying degrees of success, and the movies as a whole is really good. They're definitely classics. Silent Hill. It's based on the video games. It's actually a pretty creepy movie. If you play the video games, you probably know what it's about. They they get into a car crash, wind up in a village called Silent Hill, town of Silent Hill, and they run into like the crazy, fucked up creatures from Silent Hill and stuff like that. It's like a town stuck in permanent purgatory and all kind of stuff, and they have to find a way out of Silent Hill. The Simpsons movie. What can be said about the Simpsons movie? It's actually The Simpsons. It's something I can't remember exactly what happens, but something winds up happening in Springfield, where Springfield gets covered in a big, huge dome. But the Simpsons wind up escaping from it, and they have to try to find a way to rescue Springfield. So, if you like The Simpsons, you probably would like this movie and all kind of stuff. So, I would definitely recommend watching it at least once. And the final movie from my 6th row, we have Sin City. It's a comic book movie based on comic books, of course. It has about a cop who vows to protect a sexy stripper and all kind of stuff. And there's also somebody who's on a mission to revenge his death of his one true love. It's a bunch of little movies, stories put together into one big movie and all kind of stuff. It's really good. It's and all of them come together into one big story like arcs and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's like a big, huge league of superheroes, kind of. Well, that's it for part 6. We're almost done, guys. Just 2 more parts. So, I'll see y'all for part 7. And part 7 is going to be one more long part, and part 8 is going to be kind of short because it's only like a few movies. So, anyway, y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all for part 7.